What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are getting right back to work on the Datsun. It's been a while since I've thrown a video up there, but we're picking up right where I left off when we stripped the front end, and we're going to start installing front coilovers onto the 240Z. So here are the coilovers that we're going to be using. So these are just the fronts because, like I was saying, we're going to do this car in sections, so it's a little bit more manageable for this tiny garage. We don't need to strip the rear end and then have all those parts to manage while we deal with the front. So we're just going to do this one step at a time. It's a lot easier that way, at least for me. But yeah, so these are Silvermine Motors Coilovers, and they're equivalent to price of like CX racing type stuff. They're made with a little bit better stuff, and they're all sourced by a guy that's kind of a smaller time business that he runs himself, kind of on the side, but it's cool to support somebody that's more of just a normal guy trying to make good parts for the Datsun community. But we're going to get these installed. We got to start taking apart the front and the rear, or not the rear, but the front two sides. That way we can actually get access to them. I'm not going to even bother taking all this kind of stuff off, and I might do some stuff that you probably shouldn't do, but yeah, don't do the way I do. You should do it the right way, but you'll see that later. And both of them are off, so we are ready to move on to the next step. You can see it's quite a bit shorter, so that's right at the limit. And these are going to go all the way down, so that's about, I don't know, just guessing, probably 1 to 2 inches shorter. So you're at least going to get a 1 to 2 inch drop with these things. You can raise them a little bit, but then you get into kind of an unsafe territory of having too much unscrewed and not enough thread engagement on this. So I don't know if you'd want to go much higher than that. So if you're just looking for a little bit of a drop, honestly, probably just better struts and some lower end rings would probably be a better option for you. And it'd probably handle better than these too, because I'm not sure how well these coilovers are going to handle. It should be decent, but honestly, a good strut and spring combo can get you great handling, and it's a heck of a lot easier than having to do all this. But it's kind of cool. You get the adjustability of having coilovers, and they're really easy to maintain if you ever need to. You literally just unscrew them all the way and then insert a new strut casing into it. So it's really easy if you ever need to replace any of these. But we are ready to move on to the next step, which is really just cutting these. Now, you should, and I definitely recommend it, do this the right way. Get a spring compressor, pop off the top, pull the spring off, and then inside here, you got that gigantic nut in there. You would remove that. Once you remove that, then you can pull the whole strut insert out. That's the safest way to do this and the best bet, so that way you're not cutting through the actual strut insert, because it's going to make a mess. But I'm just going to cut it. I'm not really concerned with it. These are very old. It's going to make a huge mess. I'm going to just use my Sawzall. That way I'm not causing any sparks or anything like that with the oil inside. I don't want to heat it up too much either. So we're just going to cut it slowly. And once we do that, make a gigantic mess once all the oil comes pouring out. Now, as far as where I'm going to be cutting and how much material I'm going to be leaving, I'm going to be leaving about 2 to 2.5 inches of material left of the strut. And that's just to give it a little bit more strength and integrity, and it's not going to be relying as much on the weld as you would if you just left a little bit, or if you're just welding straight here, because it'll still have that little piece to provide a little bit of strength. And I've also seen some struts or coilovers that you actually cut and then you butt weld this part actually against it. So you're literally just cutting and then you're welding that piece straight to it. That's kind of sketchy to me, because it's relying 100% on that welded area, and it's not going to rely any on this knuckle piece being welded to, or any of this original piece that was all machined from the factory as one solid piece. So kind of sketchy to me, and I don't think I would ever do it that way. because it is a McPherson strut. So if you ever lose something like this, the whole wheel is just going to like flop over, as opposed to like double wishbone that has the upper control arm that's still going to be holding it on. All right, both of them are ready and prepped for welding. So it took a while to clean it up. I'm going to be TIG welding them, so I wanted them very clean and prepped for this. I couldn't get like the rear section as good as possible, just because I don't have any tips for my Dremel. I would have liked to have used that, so I had to suffice for some sandpaper back there, but I did a pretty good job getting it down. I'm also adding this plug weld to it, just so we can get a little bit more weld penetration on something other than just right around here, just in case. And I also beveled both the edges, got a decent bevel on them as you can see. So I'm really going to be able to get in there and get a nice weld in there. I may do a double pass, it depends on how it looks. It's also been a while since I've TIG welded, so we'll see how it comes out. Probably not going to be the prettiest of welds, but it should be pretty strong. And like I was saying, I might just do a small dab all the way around initially and then fill it with like a cap, depending on how it looks after one pass, but we'll see. But they're ready for welding. I just need to actually clear off the area for welding because I've got so much stuff over there, and yeah, such a mess in here. I hate working in this garage. One day though, I'll have a nice shop and I'll be able to actually work in here without moving everything and then putting something else over there. Yeah, one day. Alright, so they're both welded up. The welds came out alright. Definitely not the prettiest welds. Like I said, it's been a while since I've TIG welded. This thing focus a little bit. yeah, it definitely depends how much you clean it though, because I did a really good job cleaning everything. And then for the plugs, I kind of forgot to clean them as well on the area that we were welding to on the knuckle, so they ended up spattering quite a bit, and those kind of came out ugly, but those are getting ground down anyway. Not really a big deal. I could even leave them. It's still not a big deal. One thing I don't like about these coilovers that I wish I had shown you guys earlier is that they had a notch in them about 1 inch. This is because on the knuckle back there, if it would focus, it kind of raises up and makes like a little hump, but it's only about that big for the hump, and they sectioned out about that much, so it made it really awkward to weld, and I wish that they wouldn't have, and they had just left it perfectly fine and flat, kind of like it is up here, and then you would just have to bevel it a little bit to get around that hump. That would have been a lot easier and been a lot tighter fitment, but it's all good. They're completely welded. I'm gonna let these things cool before we mess with them at all, because I don't want to get burned, and we'll come back and actually see what they look like kind of on the car. Well, they look pretty good in there. Obviously nothing's holding them in there, but had to see at least what they'd look like, but it's going to be a long time until everything's put back together, even in the front, until I can finally get everything done. But we're going to start stripping the subframe and everything like that soon, and then that's why we need to get these done, because these are going to be stripped with it too and repaint everything at the same time. That way it's all the same color, and I don't have to keep mixing up paint when I actually do it. Anyway, these coilovers, hopefully they're really good. It's going to be a long time till we can test them out. But if you need anything, Silvermine Motors, check them out. They've got a lot of good Datsun parts. I knew I ran an old big brake kit on one of my other Zs that I had. It was a 78. But onto these, so they are adjustable for camber plates on the top, like they have adjustable camber plates. Obviously, you can't get at that once it's on. As you can see, they do make weld-in camber plates for the strut tops. I do not want to do that to the car. This is literally the only modification that I actually want to do to the car are these coilovers, so I don't want to do anything. And I don't want to run the bolt-in ones. These are fine, so the plan is, when it comes down to it, I'm probably just going to max these out at negative camber, which it looks like they kind of already are. And then from there, just do all the normal alignment stuff with everything else, with the lower control arms and the tie rods. So that's the plan. I should be able to get it to like an okay spec, like 1 degree or something like that. And if not, I'll just drop those down, move those Allens a little bit, and then throw them right back up. Not that bad. But you can definitely go with the weld-in plates up top if you want to, or you can do the bolt-in ones where you can actually adjust it. The bolt-in ones, you still have to slot the holes, but you don't have to weld anything in. So definitely makes it a little bit better. But like I said, I don't want anything to look crazy and out of the ordinary out of this car, and I'd like it to remain kind of the stock look of the Z, and I don't want to do any modifications like that. Anyway, that's all I'm going to do in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully that may have answered some of your questions about doing this. I know there's a lot of videos out there and stuff, and they're pretty much all the same on the Datsuns, and there's a lot of write-ups and stuff. So just another one to add to that. So maybe if you had any questions about how to do it or prep or anything like that, hopefully it answered it. If not, ask me below. Hopefully you guys like the build. Let me know if you do. It's been moving pretty slow. I apologize for that. Just my work life is pretty busy, so I don't have too much time to dedicate to this thing. But pretty soon, we're going to have more time to dedicate it and possibly a better shop to work on it in. So we'll see. You guys will see all that in the upcoming future. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you with the next video.